It's a life transfer. It's not behavior modification, but it's life transformation.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that what he said. But yes, it is heart transformation.
Absolutely. And I think the day I realised that was the day I discovered the woman in Proverbs 31. It was a very humbling experience because I was a bit of a rebel. I was a fiery little person. Yeah. I hope I'm fiery for the right reasons now. But yes, our marriage was a little bit rocky, and the day I opened that, I began to read about this woman, and I thought, you know, I need to align myself with this and become like her. And it was very humbling because I knew I wasn't anywhere near like that woman. But you know, over the years, I've just followed her example. She's amazing, and
she's too perfect.
I don't think she is. I don't think she's too perfect. I think it's just that's what's written about her.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just followed that example, and that the day I read that, I was like, oh, I've got something to follow here. It made life easier. I thought, I've got this blueprint for life here. I'm just going to model myself on this. And I think once you get that purpose in life, that purpose-drivenness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then from that, all the other things they just flow.
So anything you would like to share? Anything special happened into your life, or any funny stories or miracles or anything you were?
Well, I was an hour late on my wedding day, which I can laugh now, but it wasn't really funny at the time. The car didn't turn up and went to the wrong address, so right from the start I think you have to have a good sense of humour. So I was an hour late, and thankfully Paul waited. I thought he might not, but he did. What was the other funny story we were going to say? Finances.
Yes.
So
we were at church. We used to go to a little mission on a Sunday night where connected to the church where we were married in, and I used to play the piano there. Janet would sit in the congregation, so there was a preacher that night said, he challenged us. He said, whatever money you would normally put in the offering, he says, ask God, excuse me, ask God to challenge you and have trust in God. So I thought, right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. So I just got my wallet out and put the lot in. Thought, at least Janet's got some money as well. So at the end of the service, I said, by the way, I put all the money in the offering, and Janet said, yeah, so did I. That was on the Sunday night. On the Monday, we were given a cheque by somebody for about 3 times the amount that we'd put in the offering. And my dad came round popped into where I worked, and he said, look, my next door neighbour's given us a couple of fish, would you like one? So we got this great huge cod, I think it was, given. So we had food and finances. That was immediate.
Yeah, we once had a really, I mean, we did go through some very, very difficult times financially, due to no fault of our own, just the business that we were in. And I remember one week we really didn't have any money, but different people would drop in and they say, oh, we've just bought you a bag of food. Now every person that came brought corned beef and potato, and for one whole week we lived on corned beef and potato. Now oddly enough, we still like it. I did it in different ways. We had corned beef and potato in every way that you can think. And I think at the end of that, you just have to be thankful and you have to laugh. And I think we've got lots of stories like that, and the girls would at the end, would say, how funny was that? And we'd all just have a really good laugh about it. You've got to have a great sense of humour, and I think God he's got a bit of a cheeky sense of humour at times. And there's so many occasions that where we've just had to fall about laughing, really. But you just come out, you're thankful, you're grateful that you've been through it. I don't look back and think they were horrible times. I just think what a learning curve, and I'm here today to tell the story, and we are absolutely blessed abundantly.
We are, and just to make us feel even more blessed, our compassion child who we sponsor, periodically will send them a gift. Now, I'm not bragging here about the amount, but I need to tell you how much it was. We sent him £10. So we got a letter yesterday from him, said, thank you for the gift. I've managed to buy some school equipment with it. He bought socks, shoes, a school uniform, books, stationery, toothpaste, toiletries, a scout uniform, all for £10.
So that just encourages us, if that, we just said keep sending that £10 because, goodness only knows where that's going to lead. Now £10 here might not be very much, but the fact that God has given us the privilege of providing for other people, that is just amazing. I'm just so honoured that He uses us.
Miracles. How long have we got?
We are miracles.
We have seen in our lives God working on. A number of years ago, I was out of work again. The company I worked for had gone bankrupt, so I'd been made redundant. And we had 2 members of the African Children's Choir living with us for a fortnight. And oh my word, that was a glorious, glorious fortnight. And at the end of it, all of the hosts, when they left to go back to Ireland, to their centre there, all of the people who had hosted, we just stood around a circle and we were just crying together. It was like losing 2 of our own children, However, the pastor's wife said, just very casually on the Sunday morning, she said, by the way, you can get a return flight from Edinburgh to Belfast for £8. So we were, on the Sunday night, we were lying in bed.
Because the Africans had gone to Ireland
gone to Northern Ireland.
Get ready to move on, into their next
So I said, I haven't got the £8 even to pay for that, let alone get to Edinburgh to the airport, So we prayed about it and we asked God, we said, look, if you want me to go, I'll trust you, but we need to provide the finances. Now, the girls had been to 9th Hour, which was a monthly youth event at the City Hall, Christian event, and somebody there had given them an envelope and said, oh, could you give that to your dad? Now, we didn't know this at the time, but they'd come in and they put it on the kitchen table. They were in bed as we were praying. The next morning we looked down and there was £100 in this envelope. So I went straight round to the pastor's house, because we didn't have computer or internet or anything. And I said, right, I can go, would you book us on the flight? So that was it. However, when I got home, Janet said, well, if you needed any more confirmation that what you're doing is right, the church treasurer had been counting the offering that morning, and there was an envelope in the offering for the attention of Paul and Janet Mccree, and it was another £200. So that
but
was...
in that letter, the couple who gave the money, I don't know who they are, but they just said that every morning at their kitchen table they prayed for Paul and I. They prayed the prayer of Jabez, that God would enlarge our territory, and I often look back and just laugh at that, because how He has enlarged our territory since that day is absolutely, it's just
incredible.
Beyond imagination. We live a massive life which seems to get bigger and bigger all the time. And you know, whoever that couple were, if they ever watch this video, I can never thank them enough. But that used to happen quite a lot, and if you are in any doubt, then just pray. Always tithe. We've always tithed. Taught our children to tithe out of 50 pence pocket money. If you can do it out of the small, you'll do it out of the big. So tithing is a vital part of our Christian life.
Yeah, God is amazing.
Absolutely
He's
amazing.
faithful. Indeed.
I wish I could tell the world. I wish I could show everybody. Just dare to do it.
It's hard to understand why people don't want
Very,
God like
very
this.
hard to understand.
Why they refuse?
Yeah.
Why they stubborn? Why?
Yeah.
It's just, if they just knew. If they would just only knew, they would follow God. Yeah, it's why we would need to tell them.
Yeah.
Follow God. He is an amazing God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's the vision for the videos, that I think the church has very bad press in this country. I think when you talk to people outside of the church, they just think it's a damp old building at the end of the street that no one attends. And I think it's time that they knew about this relevant life, that God is so relevant today. It's not old-fashioned, it's not out of date.
Yeah.
And so I started to do the videos for people who I know will never ever just come to church. They may come if I invite them, they may not, but I just want to reach them. I want to reach them and show them that it's not religion, first of all, and it is relevant, and a decision has to be made. Every day I think about that dark pit of hell. I talk to people, I look at people, and I just think of hell, and I think, I don't want to just live this Christian life for me. I want everybody who, where it's possible, that they would find salvation. And so the vision for the videos, we just started off, it was a bit of fun with the food, and just to see how, it was just to see, would we hook them in? And straight away, I think within 20 minutes we'd hooked 123 people on that first video, and I thought, well, maybe there is an opening, and just continued from there. And really it is just sharing the reality of what God is to Paul and I, to our family.
It's interesting the way your video goes. It's like a chat. It's like so you're just chatting to your friends, and it's very, very, very relevant, I think, and I enjoy watching your videos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of support, a lot of encouragement from my family, and I like to do it, and it's just sharing experience. I'm not, I'm not having to create stories. All I'm doing is sharing, how God is leading me.
Yeah, whatever's on your heart, and particularly this moment.
Just inviting people into my home, and then just sharing the way that we live. If people don't want to accept that, that's absolutely fine. I just really pray that it does help somebody out there, and I think it is.
They're entitled to have their own opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're free to, let me know.
But we're not going to agree with them.
No.
Or we're both going to be wrong.
But
everybody has their own opinion, but what I'm sharing is not opinion. I hope I'm not just sharing opinion. I do try to make sure that it matches up with I've got the scripture to back up anything I'm saying. And it is a walk that I've actually walked. It's not just something I'm talking about. It's something that we live on a daily basis. So I do feel that gives you the criteria to be able to share.
We've made mistakes, in our lives.
Obviously.
There's no denying it. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we've learned a lot from our mistakes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes we made, which was why we were in such financial mess, we stopped tithing for a while when we thought we couldn't afford it. And that was the worst thing we could have done. We learned by that. So, we're not millionaires by any means, but we do live a life now where we're in a position where we can bless people. And which we do. Another thing we find important, that every morning we take time to pray together and break bread together, and we commit each day to God, and we've seen some fantastic answers to our prayers. So you know, I would encourage people to do that. Jesus himself said, as often as you do this, you know, you show my death, and I believe that it's important that we do it, you know, regularly, even if you're doing it 2 or 3 times a day. There's no set time, but we find that it's very important.
Of course.
So the painting, although it was relevant, very relevant at the time, I think the more we look at that painting, I just think, you know, it's like God has just elevated us and he holds us. You know, we are not flapping about up there. God just elevates you at the right time if you let him, and he just holds us where we are. He forgives us of our wrongdoing, and we're able then to forgive other people and forgive each other.
Indeed, yeah.
All the time.
If I can just say in conclusion, since you did that, I've come through another heart attack, and you know, thankfully God got me through that. And one of my favourite verses in Isaiah, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up on wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And you know, I've held on to that verse.
It's amazing, and it's like you're saying, and I see you here, you mount up your wings. And I think it's opened up in a different way to you now.
Absolutely, and I think it will open up for the rest of our lives, and it will be a testimony to God, not to our great strength, not anything we do, just to the living God who has a rescue plan for humanity.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad you came and
you.
share your life, and it's been interesting.
Thank you for allowing us to
your
do it.
stories, and it's interesting to hear you and see you together, because last time you were talking by yourself, and today you're with Paul, and thanks a lot. And I hope that people who would see this video, they would enjoy to hear your stories, and Lord will speak to them about something, and they will be blessed. I believe so.
Yeah.
Thank you.